Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And before I get started today, I'd like to give special thanks to our very talented producer, Mr. Logan Landers, and my guest today, one of the most talented writers out of FirstRoundMark.com that covers the NFL draft, the legendary, we call him the rock star, Mr. William Yanish, coming live to us out of Colorado today. Our video today is about a legend that played the tight end position at the University of Missouri by way of the LA Chargers, by way of the San Diego Chargers. The legend himself, Kellen Winslow Sr. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. Mr. Yanish, tell us, what did you love about Kellen Winslow Sr. when he played in the National Football League?
And Kellen Winslow, I mean, that's my childhood, man. You know, growing up and watching, you know, these tight ends and such. You know, but I mean, it's one of the reasons that I love this sport. You know, I mean, I specialize in tight ends at a first round mock. You know, and I'm not doing quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. You know, and man, Kellen Winslow, I mean, he's just a special one, and you know, coming in at pick 13 in round one in 1979 when Don Coryell and the Chargers traded up to get him. You know, I mean, there just can't be enough said about, you know, spending your entire career, you know, with one team and, you know, being first team all pro, you know, 3 years in a row, you know, leading the league in receptions twice, you know, being second team all pro, just the amount of what he did, and he, you know, revolutionized what a tight end was. You know, it went from, you know, a blocking, you know, from having the six offensive linemen, you know, to this pass catching, you know, mismatch nightmare. You know, that's just 6'5". What is he? 251 pounds. I mean, dude's just a monster, man. I mean, what can you tell me, man?
I'm gonna tell you about Kellen Winslow Sr. I first came across him. I was a freshman at the University of Arkansas watching a college football game in a week. He was playing with Missouri and was playing at the University of Alabama back in the 7-8 season. That Alabama team had Jeff Rutledge, Barry Krause, Marty Lyons, a lot of players that went to the NFL, Dwight Stevens, Don McNeil. And even though Alabama won that football game, I believe the score was 38-20, I kept saying to myself, this young man right here is going to be a star in the National Football League. And the only concern I had was that if you get into the league, was anybody going to be able to exploit his talents at the tight end position, simply because there was a guy who showed you in his college career that he could really kind of line up outside and become a playmaker playing the tight end position. And then I did my research and I went and really looked where Kellen Winslow is from. He's from East St. Louis. Went to East St. Louis High School. Al Joyner, Darius Miles, Brian Cox, Kerry Glenn. That's been some stars that came out of there, my man. Damian Nash. Then I think about when you're looking at a guy at 6'5" at that time, 250 pounds, and you mentioned he got drafted in the 79 draft. Most famous people that came out of that draft was Joe Montana. We know about that draft. But what I'm going to take away from Kellen Winslow is him playing on them offensive teams with the San Diego Chargers. And a young man that had that beard by the name of Dan Fouts out of the University of Oregon, and they doing their business. Chuck Muncie, James Brooks, Wes Chandler, Doug Wilkerson. Then on defense, Gary Big Hands Johnson of Grambling State University. That San Diego Chargers team was special on the Don Coryell, and that young man right there was really pulling that truck, as we say in the neighborhood, from that tight end position. Then you go back and you look at the skill set. It was unheard of at that time, a tight end putting up the numbers he was doing, the size, A+. The speed, 4.5, A+. The strength, A+. A left tackle playing tight end, man. Could get deep down the seam as any receiver back in that day, A+. The ball skills, A+. The blocking ability as a tight end, A+. Outstanding route runner. Kellen Winslow was the complete package. I know we want to talk about Lawrence Taylor at that time. I know we want to talk about the Chicago Bears, but Kellen Winslow Sr., pound for pound, was the best player in the National Football League, baby. Then go back to that magical AFC Championship game. 81 season against the Miami Dolphins. 13 receptions, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, blocked field goal, preserved the win for the Chargers. Kellen Winslow. We really don't do enough talking of him. We want to talk about Travis Kelce. We want to talk about Rob Gronkowski. No disrespect. We want to talk about Antonio Gates. We will talk about Tony Gonzalez, even Jason Witten. But man, let's get real here. The guy that set the tone, that played at the University of Missouri with Phil Bradley, Eric Wright, James Wilder, Kellen Winslow set the tight end position, and he's the best that ever done it. And you know what I like about him? He had a serious knee injury, and he retired after he left the game. Show you how intelligent he is, because I heard he's a really outstanding chess player. He went and got his law degree and graduated number 2 in his class at the University of San Diego. 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-team Pro Bowler. Career stats, 541 receptions, 6,007 yards, 45 touchdowns. Stop talking about Rob Gronkowski. Stop talking about Travis Kelce. You better give Kellen Winslow his flowers. Senior. Back to you, Mr. Yanish. Your final words on Kellen Winslow Sr.
Well, let me tell you, man, with the Mount Rushmore of tight ends, yeah, he's a number one. He's the original. He is what everybody tries to be now. Like you were saying just about Kelce, that came up in my mind about the time you were saying. I was like, like you said, no disrespect, man, but this is the original, man. This is the one that all the ones coming along now, the Luke Musgraves and, the Brock Bowers and this and that. And it's like, this is where they all started, that drafted a lot, Joe Montana, he revolutionized the quarterback position, Kellen Winslow, he revolutionized the tight end position, I mean, I can't say enough about him, I mean, like I said, I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan through and through, man, but the San Diego Chargers were the only team in Southern California that we didn't have a problem against, so I always enjoyed watching Fouts and Winslow and, all them, and watching all those replays, Lance Allworth, and just that whole Eric Coryell, and just everything, man. Can't say enough good things about Kellen Winslow, man. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there will be.
If you liked the video today, please come and share. We surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. Special thanks again to our very talented producer, Mr. Logan Landis. Love and respect again to the young man on the screen today that helped me break down Kellen Winslow Sr., the very talented Mr. William Yanish III out of the state of Colorado. We know him as the rock star. Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football. Special thanks and love.